Welcome to another edition of Talk City Greensboro, produced by GTN, featuring interviews and events happening around town. It's an easy way to stay in the know while you're on the go. Subscribe to Talk City on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, or SoundCloud so you can keep up with what's going on in Greensboro City government. I'm your host, Josh Johnson, and with me today, as always, completely in charge of everything.
Oh.
I'm just here to run the board.
You got know it all under control.
She always has it under control. Rosemary Plyman.
Okay. A little sarcasm to start your day. Good afternoon, morning, or evening, whenever you're listening. We're glad you're here with us. Leadership's Greensboro's 2022 class is partnering with RePurpose, Food Recovery, A Simple Gesture, Maxie B's Bakery, and Gallins Family Farm for the first ever Mayor's Food Waste Challenge. And we have three wonderful guests with us today. We have Laura Lorenz, part of the 2022 Leadership Greensboro class, Laura Oxner with RePurpose, and Robin Davis with Maxie B. Hello and welcome.
Welcome, everyone.
Hi, thanks for having us.
Really glad to have you. All right, so Laura Oxner, we'll start with you. How big of a problem is food waste?
Yeah, so it is quite the problem because we're noticing that what's talked a lot about is the fossil fuel and how we need to change in that aspect. But if you're looking at the process of getting a hamburger to your plate, all that's involved in that is from the growers to the farms to the butchers to maybe flying it here or driving it here in transport. Takes the long path of food distribution, is now deemed as the third largest producer of greenhouse gas in the world is food waste. And we know, even in Greensboro here, that 40% of the food that is produced is wasted. So we kind of have the process of producing enough food under our belt, and we have wonderful access of food all over. But we are a land of plenty, which is great, but we also need to be mindful that these resources take a lot of resources to get to us, and we need to respect that. And so we're trying to put a big highlight on food waste because not only is it a number 3 problem, but it is a very top solution. Because if we are mindful of our food waste, it's something that everyone can do. Not a lot of expense or technology needed. So a lot of highlights being put on what can we do in this realm.
Yeah. So what can businesses do to reduce waste?
A lot is looking internally at how businesses work themselves. Can they, do a food waste analysis and see what is actually being thrown away? Is it something that can be solved by purchasing less of an item or using some imperfect fruit to make a smoothie or maybe offering to consumers a half plate versus a full dish. I was at a restaurant not too long ago that had just a blackboard on their wall that just said some of their sides that were available but for limited time because they were offered yesterday. They might not have enough for the whole next day. But so really looking internally, and they, restaurants know their business, and just at a fine-tuned comb of what can they do to stop the hemorrhaging.
Right.
Yeah. Robin, when and how did you notice food waste in your business or even when you were before you got started?
Well, it definitely goes to before we started at the bakery. What I realized was that the way I ran my life at home was not quite the way that we ran the business. And it began to not resonate with me. And I felt like I compost. I buy locally at the farmer's market, and I eat organically, and I compost, and I try to recycle everything and shop minimally and live that kind of life at home. I wanted to take that and apply it to the bakery because on the scale, it's so much more meaningful on business scale than it is from what I'm doing at home. And so it began about a 2-year process of us really examining purchasing, what could we buy locally instead of off of our big food service suppliers? How could we support our small family farms? We started shifting to organic produce, organic as flour. We buy just so much locally, North Carolina. Even our pecans are grown in Roseland. I mean, it's very rewarding to work with these farmers and to really change everything and have the quality of our products be better. Yes, food cost is a little higher. You do have to factor that in, but I think that people really support the efforts that we make to feed them really good quality desserts. So the recycling came into play as well, so we're not really focusing on that this week, but the food waste part, I grew up with a compost pile. I grew up at the end of a dirt road in Kernersville, and my mom would compost, and it made the most beautiful black, just like this table, dark, rich soil that she used in her garden. So it was sort of steeped in me from the beginning. And then we were composting on our own. We were either taking food scraps out to Summerfield Farms, or we were taking them to my farm in Kernersville. It began to get overwhelming, and we also wanted to be able to compost more than that. We wanted to be able to compost our paper products that were certified compostable, plastic clamshells that they look like plastic clamshells, but they're made from corn, and could be composted in an industrial composting facility. We just didn't have access to one until I got an email from a city employee, City of Greensboro employee, who knew that this was something I actively wanted, and she said, "Hey, I've got an industrial composter for you." And I jumped for joy, called them immediately. They came out the next day, and we began working with Gallins Family Farm pretty much immediately.
That's
so we've been
cool.
working with them for several years now, and just because of this effort and repartnering with Laura, meeting Laura Lorenz and the rest of the Action Greensboro group that's working on this, and Leadership Greensboro team, it's really made me refocus on this. It's something that we've been doing for a while, and it just sort of quit thinking about it. But it's made me actively want to be a resource for other businesses to help take their hand and just lead them along the way, because truly at this point, we don't even think about it anymore. One of my team, I was telling the staff at work about this project and what we're working on and trying to keep them in the loop. Sometimes they don't see the side projects that I work on outside of the bakery. But I think it's something that's important and something they should take pride in. I'm like, hey, if you see people touring about the bakery and we're, going through the trash, you know why. So we're explaining all the different processes we have. But so we were joking about the trash, and we operate off of duty lists at the bakery. There's a lot of us and a lot of different parts and pieces and things that have to be done. So we have a task list. We call it a duty list. And they said, taking the trash out is not even a duty anymore, because it either goes to recycling, it goes to compost, it goes, whatever. And it's like we take the trash out like a couple times a week.
Wow.
That's
For business, that's unbelievable, right?
So that was the quote, it's not even a duty anymore.
Yeah, that's amazing.
So it can be done.
Yeah, it can be.
Can be done.
And I love the idea of working together and businesses, supporting each other in this effort. This is not a reason to be competitive at all. This is a reason to work together.
So important and so doable. And I think it also makes your employees feel very much a part of things in a good way. And we all grow and learn from it.
Yeah. I'd like to bring Laura Lorenz in to tell us about why this project, or what this project really is, and how it works, and why Leadership Greensboro wanted to do this.
Well, as you probably know, Leadership Greensboro, we typically have about 45 class members, and there's action learning projects that each class member has to complete as part of the certificate program. So we have 9 projects this year, and Laura Oxner reached out to us last summer, wanting this to be one of the action learning projects, and we jumped on it and just thought it would be a great initiative as one of the projects. So many projects have come through the years with Leadership Greensboro. For example, the Teacher Supply Warehouse was an idea that came through Leadership Greensboro, and now look at what it's doing. So we thought, this could be really cool. Laura has this idea, and wouldn't we love to really try to, shed the light on food recovery and food waste through Leadership Greensboro, and hopefully this initiative, this challenge that we're doing this spring, will become a annual thing, or something that will grow and just make people more aware of the need for composting and just watching what you purchase and how you use it and all of those things. And so it just was a way, I think, for Leadership Greensboro and for this team of 5, which I'm part of. I'm a class member member, and there's 5 of us total, and we just really thought, this is something we can do to give back to Greensboro and to our community. And it's been really exciting to work with Robin and to work with Laura and just see, we all knew the basics of the issue, but really it has come to, to light how much we all need to take part in this, and that it just can't be one business or one household, that we all, if there's something that we can do, one little thing, then we're all going to, help in some way. And that's part of this challenge for the restaurants. It's not like it's a competition that, who's going to get the most, how much the compost that they weigh. It's all about learning best practices, getting resources from Robin, from the city of Greensboro, from Laura and RePurpose, and we've told the restaurants that that if you can adopt one practice or change one thing that you do, then it's a success. Yeah, so
absolutely.
that's what we hope will come out of this, and it's been a fun process.
So what can we as home cooks and bakers learn from some of these practices? Like what kind of things
can we do some of these things too?
Well, absolutely. I think all of us dread cleaning out the refrigerator, right, when it has a lot of yucky stuff in it. Isn't that the worst? It's the worst for me. And then I let it get worse and worse and worse until I'm like, okay. So I think really trying to shop mindfully from the beginning. Just don't bring something in the house that you don't plan on cooking or consuming. Look at packaging, too. Yeah. Shop for minimal packaging. Going to your local farmers market, supporting your farmers is important. And then everyone can compost. I know the city of Greensboro just ran a big project to be able to get more composting equipment into residents. There's also local composting available on many different levels. So even Gallins Family Farm is now doing residential composting in Greensboro, which if you're a big takeout person and you're getting compostable, you'll see restaurants that are using compostable utensils, compostable clamshells, compostable whatever. You need to have access to an industrial composter at your home to be able to utilize that and divert that from our waste stream. You can keep that out of the landfill if you make an effort. So that's available. And something I didn't really talk about with my previous conversation was just about minimizing waste. If it's edible food, to try to steer that out before it goes to compost. If we have edible food at the bakery, we are partnering with RePurpose and can divert a cake that wasn't picked up to go feed someone at a shelter or at another vetted nonprofit that needs it. And that is such an incredible service to have, and really enjoying working with that. I'm not sure how that would apply to residential, to our home people, but the businesses should definitely take part in that, because that is huge. Yeah. It's very important.
I have one thing that, and I think Laura Oxner said this, something that we can all do at home. So Sunday night, right, as you're getting ready for the work week, you look in your refrigerator and see what leftovers you have, and you put them all out for dinner, maybe make an extra salad, and you eat what's in your refrigerator. Because like Robin just said, it's yucky when you go in and have to clean out your refrigerator and there's mold all in the stuff because you didn't eat it or you forgot it was at the back of the refrigerator. So Sunday night is a good night to do a leftover night where you just pull a smorgasbord of stuff out, and if you maybe need to supplement with a little salad or some rice or whatever, then you do that. And that's a great way, I think, that we all can do that really easily and not throw out that stuff that we forgot was in the back of the refrigerator.
Yeah. Wednesday nights are good leftover nights too. You do it twice a week. I do it twice a week.
There you go.
That's awesome.
Hey, thank you all for spending a little time with us. I love what you said too. It just starts with a little bit of mindfulness, and then it becomes, you don't even have to think about it at some point. So. Did you have one more thing to add? Okay.
I did want to speak a little bit more about RePurpose, because like Robin was saying, there is sort of a pyramid that we should follow, more of upside down pyramid of stopping the food waste, but also RePurpose connects the dots for food donors and nonprofits. So we've collected hundreds of thousands of pounds of food from area businesses, and that's what we're encouraging our restaurants to do during the food challenge, and get our chefs involved, because they're such valuable, in our community, because the nonprofits love having prepared food or perishable foods that they can offer. And so we're showing the restaurants that we can connect those dots seamlessly, efficiently, so that they don't have to worry about, it's easier to throw it away, let's say, but if they call RePurpose, we'll pick it up, we get it to the appropriate nonprofit recipient, large or small, and we can take care of that for them without, it's a great service that they don't have to worry about.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you all. Really appreciate you being
Thank you
with
so
us.
much.
The Mayor's Food Waste Challenge is April 22nd through the 27th, and you can ask about it when you eat out. And you can just do some of these things yourself.
Absolutely.
Good
Thank you all for coming.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Stay tuned in weekly by subscribing to Talk City on iTunes, Stitcher, and Google Play. And don't forget, you can download Talk City from SoundCloud.
That's it for this week. Thanks so much for tuning in to Talk City. Be sure to watch GTN, your official source for news and information about the city of Greensboro. GTN's available on Spectrum Channel 13
AT&T UVerse Channel 99.
and North State Channel 31.
GTN also streams live on Roku and the city's website
At greensboro-nc.gov.
Take care.